Good morning, friends. Yeah, it's amazing to talk to you via social media about wine. I hope everybody is still healthy and secluded and sort of look after themselves and your health is in tip-top conditions. Today I'm privileged to talk to you about Pinotage. Pinotage is quite a unique variety. It's indigenous to South Africa. It was cross-pollinated in the early 20s by Professor Pierrot. That was a real sort of amazing man that cross-pollinated hundreds of varieties, and I wonder if anybody of you know that he was also responsible for cross-pollinating one of the most dominant table grape varieties, Barlinka, that the whole table grape industry was based on for years. Today, of course, there's numerous other varieties, but this is a very successful indigenous variety. It's a crossing between Pinot Noir and Cinsault. Older grape growers in South Africa refer to Cinsault as Hermitage. Hermitage, the word originates from Pinot, P-I-N-O-T, from Pinot Noir, and the last three letters of Hermitage. The crossing was done at Elsenburg, where I study. So there's quite a few sort of links between this variety and myself. What's fascinating is the composition of the variety. It has a complete different composition than, for instance, Shiraz or Cabernet. You must put your thinking hat completely the opposite on when you produce Pinotage. It's an early ripening variety. It sort of has small canes, growing canes. It can bear a huge crop, and that's why so many Pinotages is slightly diluted, sadly, due to overproduction. But if you can balance the crop between growth and the cluster zone, the yield, then you can produce unbelievable wines. What another amazing thing is the fact that it's a very compact cluster. The berries always remind me of a parachute. They are in this shape, and but I know it's a bit technical, but what's the fascinating thing is the high levels of malic acid, so you must really be aware of that. A berry size is important. Like I mentioned, it's early ripening, and we crush it, we weigh the berries. If the berries is above a certain weight, we will draw off a bit of juice and use that for rosé to concentrate the skin fleshy seed ratio to produce a more concentrated wine. Today it's the sixth most planted variety in South Africa, and also there's stylistic differences. There's of course Pinotages that I prefer not to talk about, from high yielding vineyards that's light, that's many times due to this malic acid that will disappear with malolactic fermentation. The pH will increase, that many times the wines show sort of bacterial spoilage. I'm not prepared to talk about that, but another fascinating style is a light fruitier wine. It's also a great variety to produce rosé from. And then of course, for me personally, the two most fascinating style is the style slightly inland, Stellenbosch, Paarl, Robertson, Worcester, that produce wines that's very plummy and sort of shows strong characteristics of red fruit. And then our vineyards close to the ocean, as you can see, it's a pity you can't see, but we are 7 kilometers away from the ocean. All our vineyards have a 180-degree view towards the ocean. And yeah, that's a true expression of a cool, moderate conditions. This vineyard is 20 years old, and one of our big sort of challenges is to get the magic blend between production and quality each year. Of course, you don't want to force the production so low that it's not viable to farm with it anymore, to make wine from it. But we talk of 6 to 7 tons a hectare. And just getting back to styles differences, vineyards that Pinotage is growing close to the ocean always have a hint of banana in it. And I know many people will find the flavor amyl acetate, that is basically banana, ripe banana. Weird to talk about that in a red wine, but Pinotage vineyards growing close to the ocean have a strong underline of ripe banana characteristics. So we make this, we sort of do a punch down and sort of extract quite a bit of color and tannins out of the wine. And then we press it in a basket press, undergo malolactic fermentation in tank, and then from there it's transferred in barrels. And guys, there's so many myths and misunderstandings about barrels. Many people is of the opinion that to put a wine in a barrel is to add wood flavors, but it's really not, it's only secondary. Primary is to soften the wine and to sort of oxidize. I know oxidation can be sometimes seen as a swear word in wine, but in this case it's a positive oxidation that will soften the wine. And it's just fascinating to put a young, sort of aggressive, masculine, if I may use that term, Pinotage or red wine in a barrel, and to see the effect over 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and 12 months. So the wine spent 12 months in oak, and like I mentioned, it's just to open up the wine, to soften it, to oxidize the tannins, and of secondary, there's a support of oak in the background. So I'm going to open this. The wine has an alcohol of 14.5. The oak that we use is mainly second and third full French oak with a bit of new Romanian oak. And it's a pity you can't smell it because, or taste it. It's a great drink. 2018, of course, will be remembered as the vintage that was probably in one of the most driest conditions ever in South Africa. But it produced great Pinotage, and I think the reason for that is the fact that we have a bit of water for supplementary support. And the fact that it's bearing or ripening quite early. I'm going to open this, and like I mentioned, it's a pity you are not here to taste it with me. We always have this sort of blue color in it. I wish you can see this blue color in the rim of the wine, and if you smell it, it has that strong sort of plumminess. Black fruit, a little bit of forest floor, but underlining for me in the wine, there's always this sort of banana peel and amyl acetate flavors in there. I personally, because the wine is young, it's well structured, although it's soft and smooth. If I am in a position, I will definitely decant this 2-3 hours before serving, and I will serve this with. It's such a versatile wine. I'll serve it with venison, with red meat, but even tuna that's barbecued. I would love to try this with tuna that's barbecued, and I'm definitely not going to be prescriptive about what to drink this with. I think it's a wine you can enjoy anytime. Truly South African, indigenous, and something we all can be proud of. And talking of proud of, I just drove here from Paarl, and there was probably 10 or 15 vehicles on the N1, so I'm so proud to say that South Africans are standing together in this very tough times, and I'm not convinced we can overcome this crisis and drink a great glass of wine together in the near future. Just a few sort of things, forgive me that I go back to my cell phone, but our chef Ian, he prepared an amazing recipe with this that's available on www.grendel.co.za. We're going to produce quite a few videos in this style, and there's already one available on Sauvignon Blanc. Please subscribe for our newsletter. There's always a few specials and surprises on the wine sales side, and on online shop www.grendel.co.za. And friends, good luck with being alone at home. And if you have a bottle, enjoy that. Thanks.